Man, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of frustrated. I think my headcanon heading into this game, I was thinking to myself, okay, Vancouver, Chicago. The Canucks are a better team. They probably should win. But for me personally, as an emotional fantasy hockey player, I had some stakes in the game. I wanted to see my guys go out there and score some points, and none other was there an expectation for one Connor Bedard, who was making his grand return back to Vancouver after missing last year's Chicago game in Vancouver because he was out with an injury. This was the first game back, and as a result, we all were talking about it. Hey, he's buying all these tickets for his family. He's paying to play today. He stayed at home yesterday before coming to Rogers Arena and playing today. And for me, I've had Bedard as a keeper in my fantasy team because I took over one of the worst fantasy teams in this league from last season. The guy didn't want to play anymore, so they got me to come in, and look, my keepers were Bedard, Darnell Nurse, and Weaker. That's just kind of how bad the team was. And Connor Bedard, the past few weeks, has been so bad the entire time. No goals, no assists, no power play points. He's been getting maybe a shot or two a game, no hits, and I've been very, very frustrated with Connor Bedard's productivity in my league and for my team. So heading into tonight's game, I was like, okay, I've got Bedard, I've got Ryan Donato, I've got Peter Mrazek, who didn't even play today. He did very well against the Seattle Kraken a few nights ago. But man, we gotta get Bedard and Donato going. Like, if there's a game for Connor Bedard to start playing and actually start scoring, it's today. But like, ay, man, I don't know what was that. Like, Vancouver beats Chicago 4-1. Okay, great. Like, that's the result. We didn't even say that yet, but hello, how you doing? Canucks win. Connor Bedard looked invisible today. Ryan Donato, his line mate, didn't really do much either. And for me, the Vancouver guys that I have Sherwood, I have Joshua. I needed goals and assists out of these guys. I got one assist out of Sherwood. He honestly could have had more. He could have had a goal too if he was just a little bit further away from the net in that one chance that he had. Dakota Joshua looked pretty good as well, but he didn't produce anything. He only got hits, which is great to see. I mean, I've had the Sherwood stack on my lineup for the past few weeks now, so I've been pretty comfortably ahead in the hits category for most of my matchups, but man, I needed goals. I needed assists. I needed power play points today. But out of these guys, I mean, 4 dudes, only 1 point. It's a Sherwood assist, and I kind of walk out of this game kind of stomping my feet on the ground with a grumpy attitude because, man, I've been needing these points. So I am not really having the best time here, but the Canucks had themselves a pretty good game. And I'm going to say that a lot of this was carried off of the back of Arturs Silovs, who had himself a pretty stellar save percentage in this one. He had 1 goal against and a total of 29 shots against. So 28 saves on the night for Silovs. He lets in the first goal of the game, and it's scored by none other than somebody else who is making his grand homecoming to Vancouver, Ilya Mikheyev. Now, I think Mikheyev was present for the last time the Blackhawks were in Vancouver, but still, Ilya Mikheyev, of all people, went out there and scored more points. And the point that he scored, the goal he scored, wasn't even Silovs' fault. It was Erik Brannstrom's fault, I would say, mostly because of the rush that allowed Nick Foligno to drive down the right side completely, put his arm out and stiff-arm Brannstrom the way to the net. Silovs makes the first save, and then the rebound is right on the side there for Ilya Mikheyev to put it in. Sure, it's not ideal to see Arturs Silovs and the Vancouver Canucks succumb the first goal of the game once again. I think Shorty said this was the 9th time in the past 10 games the Canucks have succumbed the first goal of the night. But Vancouver eventually clawed their way back and won this game 4-1. 4-1 might seem like the Canucks dominated, but realistically they were up 2-1 for most of it. The 2 goals scored at the end there were empty netters. Let's talk about some of these goals that did go in, though, because for the most part I'd say that a lot of this game was even-keeled. A lot of back-and-forth possession, a lot of back-and-forth chances. I don't want to say that one team necessarily deserved or earned the win. I think it was just kind of luck of the draw here with the amount of chances going both ways. Chicago had their opportunities. Vancouver had theirs as well. It wasn't really until the end where I think the Vancouver Canucks started to control more of the pace and puck But either way, the second goal of the game is scored by Elias Pettersson to make it 1-1. It's on the power play, assisted by Miller and Hughes. Hughes goes over to Miller, and Miller throws it towards the side of the goal. Petey tries to one-touch tap pass it across the slot to Connor Garland, but instead of it going to Connor Garland, it goes off the skate of Connor Murphy after bouncing off of the goaltender, Arvid Soderstrom, and eventually it goes past that Soderstrom, makes it a 1-1 game. Finally, Elias Pettersson and the Vancouver Canucks are getting bounces. We've been waiting for this moment, and ultimately I think Petey had a really strong game today. You started to hear the crowd chanting his name, "Let's go Petey," after that goal went in. And aside from maybe a few moments where I thought he should have shot the puck instead of passing it like he did, I think Pettersson had one of the stronger games today that he has had. I thought he protected the puck well along the boards. I thought he was staying on his feet more often than we're used to. He was making proper play facilitating passes to keep things going in the right direction and extending offensive zone shifts for Vancouver. Pettersson had a great game today. One pet peeve I will say about this game, though, the Canucks' first power play had themselves the goal, and then there were two other power play opportunities. The Canucks were 1 for 3 tonight, but the second unit didn't get any significant time. Now, I'm just salty. Like, straight up, I'm like, get the second unit out there. Why is the first unit getting 2, 3 shifts in the ozone? Please switch so that Sherwood or Joshua can go out there and get points, but that didn't end up happening. So, from the perspective of my fantasy hockey team, I was very upset with the inactive play from those guys on the man advantage, but still, Pettersson, Miller, Hughes combined for the first goal by Vancouver in this game. I will say that Quinn Hughes had a great game, of course. I think that's par for the course. But JT, despite the fact that JT Miller had himself 2 points, I thought he had a bad game. I thought he was controlling the puck very carelessly. There were a number of moments where he kind of let the puck get away from him. He tried to settle a pass. He tried to control it, but he just kind of fumbled it. There were a few dire moments that could have been a lot more dangerous had Arturs Silovs not come out with a save, or if the back check wasn't as strong. I don't think JT Miller had too strong of a game here, despite the fact that he had those 2 points, which I guess speaks to the quality of play that we expect and know we can get as fans out of JT Miller. He had 2 assists, and I'm complaining about the guy. Like, I mean, how many people can you say that about? Connor Bedard? Oh yeah, wait, no, he had 0 points today, so maybe we can say a little bit more about him. 2-1 goal, though, scored by Vancouver is in the third period. This comes off of a really good shift by the Pettersson-Sherwood-DeBrusk line, and eventually it's DeBrusk who plays it over to the corner for Kiefer Sherwood. He tries to throw it backdoor for Petey, but Petey misses it. It deflects over to the point, where Brannstrom just locks and loads. He fires it, a one-time shot towards the goal. It beats Soderblom. Not sure if it was 5-hole or if it was down behind the glove there, but still, it goes right through the crease. Sherwood gets the assist, so I'm happy with that. I need a lot more assists if I want it to be successful this week, and maybe 1 goal or a power play point or 2, but wowzers. Is that the only point that I get? And I feel pretty bad about it. Anyways, the third period comes and goes, and this is where Connor Bedard completely hangs his head down in shame, and you can see this in the video replay afterwards. Connor Bedard, by the way, him and Donato, their line did not get many shifts in the third period. I kind of noticed that. They were going through the rotation. Okay, here's Foligno. Okay, here's Reichel. Okay, here's Teravainen. Where the hell is Bedard? Like, what? Like, Mikheyev's getting more playing time than this guy. I don't know if it was necessarily like they got benched or whatever, but the Donato-Bedard line just did not get any opportunities in a significant capacity in the third period. And once they did, once Connor Bedard went out there for the empty net, he tried to dump the puck in from center ice. He fanned on it. And then the Canucks took it back. Tyler Bertuzzi tried to swoop in and take it, but he couldn't. JT Miller then takes a long shot from the red line. It goes in. And Connor Bedard, you can see him on the bench. You know, he's got his head down in shame. He's got all his teammates just kind of patting him on the back. Hey, it's okay, man. It's okay. And the analysts on the TV segment were saying, hey, he wants to play a good game in front of his family. He wants to show off well. But he had a really bad game. Like, he was invisible tonight. Aside from the 2 shots that he ended up taking in this game, he didn't do anything. And oh no, they took away a shot. It was 2 shots. Now it's 1. He had a block in there too, which I'm happy about. I needed the blocks, but 1 block, 1 shot, that's it for Connor Bedard today. Ryan Donato didn't look all too great, although he did have a lot more shots than Bedard did. Eventually, after the Miller empty net goal, there's another one. Teddy Blueger scores the easiest empty net goal of his life as Connor Garland and Heinen are able to get the puck to him. Blueger has a breakaway on the empty net and he finds it. It's a 4-1 game. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about this homecoming night for one Ilya Mikheyev as well as Connor Bedard. What are your opinions on me not really being all too happy about the game because I did not see any points out of Bedard and Brian Donato and many more points from Sherwood and Joshua, but either way, all kidding aside, good game for Vancouver. Arturs Silovs gets the victory here, his first victory of the season, by the way, so good for him. Thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. 9 and bye.